Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another wild camping adventure. I'm out here on Loch at the moment. I launched from the Loch Outdoor Activity Centre, which is somewhere over there. It's quite windy actually. I've just found a nice little area of calm here on the Loch, but it was a bit of a struggle trying to get over from that end. But yes, I'm out for a couple of nights wild camping. I've got the canoe full of equipment, too much equipment as per usual. But yeah, so I'm going to head down the Loch for a while and hopefully find somewhere in the forest to set a tarp up and relax for a couple of nights. Well folks, so I found a place to camp here just on the edge of the Loch. It's not the best place, I'll have to be honest, but the sun's starting to sink. If you can just see the light fading through the trees there. So I'm just going to set a tarp shelter up there and then try and just get the camp established. Over the other side of the Loch there's kind of like a house pretty much directly in front of me, which again, it's not ideal, but I've paddled up and down this, probably about 1 kilometre up and down this section of the Loch, and there's nothing really suitable apart from this area. So yeah, I've got a Cornish pasty actually that I picked up at Scotch Corner, so I'm going to scran that because I'm starving, and then start getting the camp set up. So I've decided to change my camp location. There was quite a bit of dead standing wood over there. So I just moved down about 30 metres, and there's a bit of a clearing here, so I'm just going to get the tarp set up. I just chucked my tarp into a waterproof bag before I left the house for this trip. I didn't really check what was in it, and unfortunately I've only brought plastic pegs. Now the ground that we're on is just absolutely solid. You've got maybe ½ an inch and then rock underneath, so these things just aren't going to cut the mustard. So I wanted to do it just a simple diamond shaped tarp and just sleep under that, but I can't do it. So I've tried to put a ridge line up and just try and build a bit of an A-frame shelter, but I still can't find anywhere where these pegs are going to go in. So I'm not really sure what to do now. I don't think it's going to rain, and I do have a bivvy bag, so I might just try and sleep underneath the canoe, see if I can drape the tarp over the top or something like that. But yeah, it's not ideal. I usually carry a set of like 10-inch rock pegs. Can't believe I've left them at home and brought these. They're just useless. So yeah, I'm going to do a bit of thinking and see what I can come up with. Bit of compromise was required, so I've just built a little shelter there, if you can see, just using the weight of the canoe to keep the back of the tarp down, so it's kind of pinched underneath. And then I've got a guy line running down to a rock down there, and another one where the paddle is there, running down to a decent sized bit of tree trunk. So I just hope the wind doesn't pick up tonight, because I don't think that'll last long. Like I say, I've got my bivvy bag, I'll be warm enough. Well folks, so that's all that's set up now. I've got the X-Ped air mat. I've got plenty of room in the canoe, so I brought along my Icelandic sheepskin, so that goes on top of the X-Ped. Then I've got a Highlander Hawk bivvy bag and the DD Dura 2 hammock sleeping bag inside there. So I don't know if it's warmed up or I'm just sweating off putting all this together, but I think it's going to be quite a mildish night, probably just get down to 1 or 2 degrees, so that's not too bad. The sleeping gear should cope with that easy enough. And I'm going to start preparing the ingredients for me stew before the light goes completely. I managed to cook up my game stew pretty successfully. The only downside was that I put a full stock cube in, and because it's such a small pot, it came out just a little bit too salty. Just got a small fire going here. It is pretty cold, but I'm warm enough obviously with this crazy hat on. I'll be wearing this to go to sleep tonight, so I think I'll be warm enough. And I've got the Coleman Powerhouse unleaded lantern. It's a brilliant little lantern. I mean, obviously it's far too heavy to take backpacking, but I usually take it with me in the truck when we go winter camping. And in the canoe, you know, that thing's got a 500 kilogram payload, so you can bring along a few luxury items. And this thing, if I turn it up, it, like, you know, it easily lights up around. I mean, you can see behind, it's about 20 foot radius you get from it. But yeah, it's still early, it's not even 7:30 yet, but it feels like it's about 12 o'clock. So I think I'll just chill out for a bit, stay warm by the fire, listen to the radio, might read my book, and then hit the sack and see what tomorrow brings. I think I'll probably pack everything up tomorrow and take a bit of a trip round the loch. According to the weather forecast, the wind dies right down, so I should be able to have an enjoyable day's paddling. Morning folks, that was a really good wild camp. I slept really well. I didn't wake up till about 7:30, which is unusual for me. I usually get up about 5, or wake up at least about 5. But I got into the sleeping bag last night about 10:30 and just slept all the way through till 7:30. Yeah, but yeah, so a little bit of rain came through this morning. So I'm glad I decided to put the tarp up. So I wanted to just show you my little coffee pot that I've been using recently. I actually use this in the truck quite a bit as well. It's just a little bush pot from the Bushcraft Store. I think it cost about 18 quid. It's just a stainless steel one. I mean, you can use it for all kinds of things, to warm food up, whatever. But what I'd done was I had an old cafetiere in the house, one of those black plastic ones with the glass, and the glass had smashed. So I kind of recycled the little coffee plunge. I think it's a 3-inch circular bottom thing, because I need to buy a new mesh. That's why I know that I haven't measured it or anything. But it fits perfectly into the bush pot. So what I do is, because I love real coffee, I can't bear instant coffee. I recently tried those coffee bags as well. They're like a tea bag with coffee in, but it's just not strong enough for me. So I like to have proper coffee in it, especially in the morning. But I don't want to bring along a glass cafetiere. And the little bush pot works great. You just put your water in, boil it up, get your coffee in, and when you're ready to go, just give it a plunge and you're off. I just cut that down as well so that the lid still fits on for storage. I've got a little the spork which had snapped, so I cut that in half and that fits in there as well. So it's a decent little coffee setup for not a lot of cash. I was looking at some of the ones you can buy. I was looking at the Snow Peak one, but I think it's about 70 quid for something not too dissimilar to this. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to get a coffee on. Desperate. So I'm just having a bit of a mooch around the forest that's kind of behind where I'm camping. It looks like a typical commercial woodland full of pine trees. Quite big though. But yeah, you know what? These forests are always a little bit spooky, I think, because they're really dense. No light gets to the bottom. I came into here last night because I needed to get some stones. Cause there's a fire pit there. I don't know if you can see behind me. It's a big plastic drum and that there. But I was going to use the fire pit, but like most fire pits that you come across, it's just full of glass and plastics, broken beer bottles around it. So I thought, you know, I'm gonna have to build another one, which I mean I'll remove it and clear it up when I leave. But anyway, I wandered into the forest last night to try and just to kind of get some stones from around that fire pit. And I don't know, I think there must have been a deer or something in the woods, because I had my head torch on full beam, and when I looked up, I just caught the eyes of the deer, I think, and it scarpered. But yeah, shit myself. But yeah, it's forecast to be sunny today. I've just checked the Met Office weather, but it's done nothing but rain this morning. But if it clears up, I'll get packed up, I'll get the tarp away and just get the canoe loaded and go and explore the loch for a bit. I'm not gonna lie, folks, this is the life. It's lovely conditions here on the loch. Wind's pretty much died down completely. So there's a campsite halfway down the loch, and there's a bridge that goes over it. I think it's a disused railway bridge, I'm not entirely sure. But that's where I'm heading. So this is the bridge that I wanted to get to. Not really sure what's further on down the loch. It goes on for quite a way, but I read some reports and apparently it's quite like marshy around there, and there's not many places to camp. So I think heading north up the loch's the best bet. figured this beach will do for a lunch stop. It's pretty chilly because it's in the shade, but I don't think there's any other options nearby. So I'm just getting all the gear out. I'm going to cook up some bacon and eggs, I think. Well, I've managed to get myself some lunch. I'm just pouring a brew right now. It's just gone 1 o'clock. And ideally I want to find somewhere to set up camp by about 2. I mean, that is fairly early, but still only gives us a couple of hours to set the camp up and maybe try and get a bit more firewood. So I'll be cooking me dinner over a fire tonight. So I've just arrived at the little island here in the loch. Doesn't look too good down there for camping, but seems to be a bit of a clearing here with a fire pit. It looks alright actually. A couple of fire pits here. See them down there? There is a bit of a breeze coming through. There's a few signs up here. Just a couple of memorial signs. Can you see them just up there? Yeah, so I don't know, I might camp here actually. The only thing is, do you know what, I'm always a bit wary about collecting, and I do need firewood. I'm always a bit wary about collecting wood from an island. You know, these little islands, they just have limited resources. Although there seems to be quite a bit around here, to be fair. But I don't know. It's going to be an option. It's getting on a bit, and I really need to start putting some plans in place to find a camp. Well, folks, I decided not to sleep on the island in the end. The weather doesn't look too bad in the morning, but there just wasn't a lot of dead wood on there. There was a bit, but you know what, I didn't really want to start using up what little resources that island has. So I've set off here. I've come up past the place where I've left my car, what's it called, the activity centre, and there's some woodland. I don't know if you can just see here to my right, quite a bit of nice woodland. So I'm just going to look and see if I can find a relatively decent clearing and perhaps make this home for the night. I'll turn the camera around in a moment. You've got a beautiful view ahead of me. I have, not sure which peak it is. There's a couple of them that are snow capped up there. Well, this is the spot for tonight. I've had to pull the boat in from the shore a bit. There's a few reeds down on the shore there, so it might be a bit awkward to get drinking water, etc. But there's a nice level bit here. I wonder if my pegs are going to go into the ground here and not be able to set like a diamond tarp configuration up, so that's my next move. Well folks, good news, my pegs managed to go in the ground, so I've just built a really simple diamond shelter. The wind is actually coming from this direction at the moment, so that's going to give us a bit of protection, but in the morning I think it's going to be coming from that direction which is going to blow straight into the shelter. But what can you do? I'll not get up in the night and start reorganising things. I'll probably just maybe pull the canoe round here just to give myself a bit of extra protection, but we'll see how it goes. The last thing I needed really for this tarp setup was to run a line from the centre attachment point to a tree behind, just to lift it up a bit in the middle. Yeah, so camp is definitely sorted now. Well, got a fair bit of firewood in there. It's ready to go, so I'm going to start preparing my dinner. So I'm going to use the little Petromax 1 litre Dutch oven again. It's definitely probably just a one person pot this. I had a stew in it last night and that pretty much, it would be sparse shared between two. Then again, I'm fairly greedy like. But yeah, it's a cracking little pot. You can get them with legs or without. Yeah, so on the menu tonight is a beef and ale stew. So I've got a bit of diced beef, a bit of butter, a tatty, a couple of shrooms, a couple of shallots, a carrot, garlic, my special little herb mix, and seeing as it's going to be a beef and ale stew, I'm going to use the Cranbourne Porcher, which is a Badger beer, rich and fruity, so it'll be ideal with red meat. 5.7% as well, so it's a strong one. I can't really put all of it in here because it'll not fit, so I'll have to give it a little taste beforehand, I think. Well folks, the meal's all prepared. I couldn't get that much veg in actually, because I think, how much meat is there? There's is that half a kilo? I think it is. Is it? Oh no, it's only 400 grams, but it's quite a bit of it. And I found last night, if you put too much liquid in, it was kind of overflowing a bit on the fire. So I've kind of got it full to the top here. I'll just have to be careful with the liquid. Probably give it about half an hour, and I'll get the fire on because I expect this will take a couple of hours. Oh, do you know what? I'll just show you that little tripod I got from the Bushcraft Store actually. Yeah, so I picked this up the other day from the Bushcraft Store. It's one of their own products. It's got the TBS little logo on with the wild boar. I was just looking, because I do have an iron tripod, but excuse me, it's not the type of thing you want to take backpacking with you. But this is all made out of aluminium. It's actually quite high quality. You get 6, 9, 12 sections. Let's have a look. So you've got a bottom one here with like a rounded edge on, and they're basically all just kind of screwed together like this. So it's probably about a metre tall, I would have thought. It's about a metre, I reckon. And then you get this little top section here. So that just kind of screws in there like that. Obviously you put the other two in. You've got a hook on the bottom, and you can adjust the size of the chain at the top here by just putting that little, I don't know if that's going to get in focus, by putting that little pin in. So it's a quite a nifty little bit of kit. So yeah, this is up. Just takes a few moments, and you've got a fairly decent tripod there. That's fairly portable. Just give you a look at it. Yeah, so there it is, all set up. This is just a pin that you've got, so you can kind of pull the chain through and then just can't do it with one hand. Just stick the pin through there, and you can adjust the height of the chain. So yeah, probably stands maybe just over a metre tall. It falls down to about 25 centimetres, so yeah, quite pleased with it. Morning guys, that was another great wild camp. Got pretty chilly in the night and a bit of rain came through. Wasn't very windy, so I didn't have any problems with the tarp setup, but pretty cold. I got up about 7 o'clock this morning. I mean, it's 9 o'clock now and it's actually just got light. I've been sitting in the dark for a couple of hours wondering when the sun's going to show its face, but yeah, it's really still on the Loch at the moment. Starting to think I should have slept on the island maybe, but this area was good enough. It doesn't matter how cold you are in the morning, as soon as you start packing all this gear up and hauling everything down to the waterside, you get a right sweat on, which I'm going to do now. My coffee's just about done, freezing cold. Well guys, that's the canoe all loaded. Got the fishing rod at the ready there. Loch seems really calm at the moment, so I'm just going to potter around for an hour I think, do a bit of fishing and then head back to the boatyard. Well folks, that's me pretty much done for this trip. Gonna have to start heading back now. Bit of a shame. Could have easily spent another night out here. So yeah, I'd just like to say, as ever, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.